Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another exciting episode of the Social and Distancing Show.
That was an intense intro. I haven't seen the new intro. I feel like I need to go to. I feel like I need to go to war.
Wasn't that awesome? It kind of pumps you up, doesn't it?
Yeah, I feel like I need to grab a axe and a shield and just.
Oh. Right on. I'm with you. Heck yeah. Let's do it. Let's go LARPing sometime. How you doing tonight, Jhmeid? I don't know if he's muted or he's thinking deeply about what he wants to say.
This is intense as well. It's muted. It's muted. His mic is muted.
Well,
CBC says, unmute yourself. Unmute yourself. You need to send him a message.
There we go. No.
I don't know what happened. It's storming here. It was storming here earlier.
Oh, yeah.
Are there some storms where you're at too, Nacho Mama?
Yeah, not as bad as that picture you posted.
Did you see that? Isn't that like crazy?
That was scary.
It really was. So if y'all go to my Facebook, you can see there's a picture of about 45 minutes away. There's a giant storm, and there's the clouds are being. A friend of mine who's in Lacey. She was like, it's harmless. It's nothing. She goes, it looks scary as heck, but it's okay. So I was like, it looks like a tornado hit the ground, but not just hit.
She's like a storm chaser, though. She's one of those tornado people. She's like, that's nothing. But the rest of us are like.
That's true. She is. She's like, she's the one, like the rest of us will be running away from the tornado, right? Lacey's going to be the one who's going to run towards the tornado with her camera and her puppy.
I'm not going out towards it. I'm just going to look at it from my back porch. Be like, yep, there's a nader.
I thought we were supposed to be in a bathtub. Is that over? Yeah. Was that over in the 80s? No more bathtub?
I remember when we were in Lubbock, I told my wife, get in the tub. Now, hurry, let's go. So, because there was a warning over there once. So, it's not just an 80s thing, Jhmeid. It's still yeah, we're good. We're still there.
You know, all the stuff we learned back then was kind of proved to be later false. So,
yeah.
Well, you know what they had us do in high school is we'd get in the hallway and put a book on our head if a tornado came. Like, that's going to
The tornado's like, oh, no, books.
They're educated.
Go the other way. They're too smart.
Good point. Well, everyone, I hope. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry, Jhmeid.
No, to put your head under the desk. You remember that? Yeah, that didn't seem too safe.
You know, none of the thing, and especially because there were so many windows in the classrooms too. And if you were in one of those hallways where the small windows, but they were all lined up on the top of the hall, same thing there. It's like, okay, yeah, I guess so. We'll see. Well, everyone, I hope you're excited tonight because we are bringing you a pretty fun show. As you can see, Joe and Sandy are not with us tonight, and so we've got the wonderful. I know, right? Something about, and I can feel for him. He's saying goodbye to his middle child, his youngest daughter, because she is leaving to New York, and so today's her birthday and her going away party.
Aww.
I know, right? I kind of looked at my kids, and I'm like, oh my gosh.
As a girl dad, it's inevitable.
It is. So because they couldn't be here with us tonight, we asked our fabulous Nacho Mama, also known as Renee Bekkelund, host of the Ghost Wine and Spirits Show. She's here with us tonight. Thanks, Renee.
Seriously cool show.
It really is.
Thank you.
And then we also have Jhmeid Bilingslee here. He is the host of We Dat Atlanta show. And those guys are doing pretty good. You guys just had a pretty phenomenal event or thing happen recently, right, Jhmeid?
We did. We got a TV deal, and we have a new diva on our show to keep not me but Ricardo in line, my other co-host.
He needs it, huh? He needs it. Well, congratulations on that accomplishment, Jhmeid. Congratulations to all of y'all.
Well, we couldn't have done it without you.
Oh man, hush. Go ahead and tell me something. It's okay.
No, that's serious.
You guys are doing all the work all on your own, and you're doing great. I love watching y'all. I don't know too much about sports, y'all, but I tune in to watch Jhmeid and the rest of the cast over there because supporting my folks. Love those guys. So anything I can do to help out, and I do enjoy watching it though. So with that being said, tonight we're having our singles dating episode.
Single.
Holla! So just for the record, we had a show last week where we were talking about some single dating advice, and Joe, Sandy, and I were just like going along, doing our thing, giving our 2 cents and everything. And then after the show, we realized, it'd probably be better to get some singles on here so that we could actually get some real world perspective from folks who are currently in the dating field and give us their perspectives.
Yeah, who wants to hear old married people talk about
right? Well, maybe if y'all do, y'all can tell us in the comments, and then we'll have a future episode where we'll bring some marrieds on, not Joe, Sandy, or I, and we'll ask them to kind of talk about their relationships and their perspectives.
Bring some marrieds. I like that. Or the marrieds.
Yes. So let us know. But thank you for joining us tonight. I am seeing Joanne over there. And I see Sylvia's joined us, and so has Kim. Thank the 3 of you for joining, and anyone else who's stopping in, tell us hi in the comments so we know you're watching, okay? With that said, I kind of want to get into the meat of the show, right? Because I like getting into the thick of it, right? So I'm going to bring our guests on tonight, and some of them are familiar faces, and you might see some new faces as well joining us tonight. So start us off with, we have a woman who... her reputation precedes her. She has been on our show multiple times. You've seen her here before. You've also seen her as she is the host of her own show over on the Strange Connection show. It's our sister show. And she is a fabulous, wonderful being, a soul that we have thoroughly enjoyed. She is a girl who I initially did not like.
Oh!
I will put it out there. I did not like this girl. But after our first episode with her, I told Joe I absolutely enjoyed her. And not only that, but I wanted to help her have her own show. And that she is one of the founding members who got the Strange Connection show started. So without further ado, help me welcome Gabs to the show.
Yay!
Hello, everyone. It's so good to see all y'all's lovely screens and faces and and Jaime, no hard feelings. It's okay.
No, good. Thank you. Don't hold it against me, please. Okay.
No, of course.
So thanks for coming on tonight.
Of course. I heard the topic and I was like, I have to be there.
Yeah, I'm so glad you did. Actually, I'm so glad.
Yes.
It's always fun when we get people who are about the topic, but when you know them and you know their energy, it's like, oh, that's such a great. So I'm happy you're here with us tonight. And speaking of energy, our second guest for tonight, he's been on the show as well before, and you want to talk about energy. This guy has a lot in him. He thrilled us when he came on to talk about movie production and making commercials and videos and all these things. He's currently working on putting out an album with his team, but we'll have him talk more about that later. But for the moment, help me welcome Jacob Hamil to the show as well.
Howdy, everybody.
Hey, Jacob.
I don't know if I'd say energy, but yeah, we're going to go with that.
You do have great energy. You have a great amount of energy, I swear.
Oh, well, I used it all the last 2 days, so I'm just going to stay awake here. We'll go with
all right.
You know what? As long as I read a post about someone who said that they were a practicing medium for 15 years, and they were, what was the word? They were assaulted by someone's dark energy when they went to the store from them. So I don't see you having dark energy, Jacob. Okay. So
I'm already out of it after the last. I expelled it all. We're good. Burn sage, whatever you want to say. We're here.
Okay,
so
we're here. Excellent. Well, I appreciate you, man. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Yeah.
All right, and our third and final friend joining us tonight. Just to give you a little bit of info, she's 31 years old. She's a phlebotomist at UMC. She loves to sing. She's definitely more on the introverted side, but she finds people fascinating. She likes to call herself a student of life. So help me welcome Karina Perez to the show.
Yay!
And Jaime, I just want to say thank you so much for pronouncing my last name
perfectly.
Shout out.
Yeah.
Shout.
You bet, no problem. Yeah. I get it enough. I told someone earlier today, I said, they were like, what's your last name? I said, Pina. And he was like, Pina. And I was like,
No. There's an Inya.
Oh,
I'm
no,
just-
that kills
Thank
the
you, Jake.
vibe.
Yeah. So y'all know what it's like. All right, so everyone, this is our panel. This is what we're going to call our singles panel tonight, okay?
Because obviously we have nothing else to do tonight.
This is how dating is right now.
No, this is so
What
much
it's
fun. I wouldn't want to be anywhere else right now.
Yes.
So much fun.
Excellent. I appreciate that. So real quick, I'm going to make sure we get to some of these comments over here. And Joanne is saying, I haven't been able to see any of Nacho Mama lately. And no worries. Nacho Mama, do you want to say anything about that?
Yes. Don't worry, Jan. I'm coming back. My family's in the middle of a move that keeps being delayed. So as soon as I get settled in our new place, then I'll be back.
And it's a nice place. I
And
saw
I'll
some of
let
the
you know.
pictures. It's great.
Yeah. He saw
I'm
the
so excited
kitchen.
for you.
I sent him a picture. I'm like, look what?
I was thrilled. I was like, oh my gosh, I love kitchens. Y'all know. But Sylvia Jennings, she's waving hello. Thanks again, Sylvia, for hanging out with us tonight.
Hi, Sylvia.
And we've got Miss Kim Ward. So she's up here with Miss Kim's Confections.
Oh,
Ooh.
confections.
And let me tell you, as one of the only people on the show to have tasted her her taffy grapes. Oh my gosh.
Oh.
Y'all know
We
what y'all
get it.
missing.
We get it.
Are you gonna ship them to us, or are you just gonna talk about it?
I'm not, but Miss
Exactly.
Kim, throw your store in the comments for us so everyone can go take a look at your goods.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah.
she actually, I was hoping she could have joined us tonight on the show, but she's actually getting ready for an event this week, so she's having to do the catering and set up all the venue and
Oh, that's
all that stuff.
a lot of work.
The fun stuff, yeah.
Yeah. She says, this is going to be great. Thank you so much. And then Dolores, this is Momager, or Gab's mom. Hey, it's that girl from the Anti-Valentine's Day show.
Oh man.
Y'all should go watch that episode.
That
man.
was one of my favorite
Speaks
shows.
to my heart.
It was a
Yeah.
good episode.
Definitely top notch.
Oh, okay. So I have the first question that's going to kick off the panel tonight. Okay, so for all of you
Get a
watching
mouthful
tonight,
of liquid before you.
here,
ask.
yes,
Let's
get your
go.
liquid.
I'm ready.
Now remember, we want to hear y'all's perspective on dating life here in this. Honestly, it's easy for me to say this decade, right? Because the three of us up here have been married for a little bit, so I'm okay with that. and yeah, so here's the question that Sandy wanted me to make sure I shared for our singles to answer tonight. So I hope you're ready.
I'm always ready.
Here it is.
I was born with.
And I'm gonna let Nacho Mama read it for us, okay?
Oh, well, where am I reading from?
Good luck, by the way. Here, it's gonna be on the screen.
Okay. Ladies, can y'all married Ladies, can y'all married a man that he but he is thought he is important. And after it, no!
These are my favorite memes.
Explain
So,
that,
Am I having a stroke?
yeah.
Is this a question?
No. This is what
So-
dating is
And
like.
I
We're
don't know
trying to
why
make
my
sense of
accent
it.
went that way. I don't know why all of a sudden Trailer Park Renee came out, but
It did. I could hear the little.
Wow.
All right. So what we'll do is we'll start at the bottom of the screen and we'll work our way up through the singles to let them answer here. So Karina, we'll start with you first. Can you answer
Okay,
this for
well-
us, please?
Yes, I can. Very simple. Dating is very confusing. This right here, that's exactly what that means. Confused. Yes.
Good answer. Good answer. Okay. How about you, Jacob?
That is. I just have to say, if you like memes like this, then I'm still single. I actually got on here to advertise. Didn't I? I'll answer questions too, but yeah.
That's quite all right, man. You know, I would think you're a good catch, Jacob. Okay, so y'all ladies out there, yeah. What about you, Gabs?
I agree with Karina. This is just the proper definition for dating at the moment.
Yeah.
So if you're at home,
this is a lady who's short-circuited. She's short-circuited from dating. She can't even speak right, and she doesn't even know what she's trying to say. She's just frustrated at this point.
I tell y'all, when I first read this, I was rolling because I was like, "What?" My head just busted. I don't know what's going on here. So
Exactly.
yeah,
That's
you know,
the definition right there.
I think it was more like this.
Yeah.
Where's the sound
Windows
effect?
XP.
Yeah, I'll add a sound effect later. Yeah. All right. So anyway, no, but all joking aside, let's start. Let's just open up with a question and let's see where we go from there. Okay. So the general question, I guess, since this is a dating episode, I would like for the three of y'all to start off with, what does dating mean to you? Let's start with Gabs this time, and then we'll work that way.
Oof. Well, let's see. Are we talking about like what it would be 15 years ago or what it is now in our world?
Now in your world.
Unfortunately, now like in our world, dating is you're talking is what people put it as. You have your talking stage, and then if they're really feeling you, then you have your dating stage. So at this point, it's like, you know how you used to joke around like first base, second base? Yeah. Well, first base is talking, second base is your dating. That's literally, I don't even know
Oh my goodness.
how more to explain it. Dating is just when you're finally able to go out in public and go to a restaurant, and when they like you enough to take you actually out. That is dating in our world right now.
Okay. We'll move on to you, Jacob. And then you guys at home, tell us in the comments what you see dating as, whether it's today or when you were dating, okay?
Yeah, man, that's I think Gabs really put it best, honestly. It's I don't even know what it doesn't really mean much to me now. Like I was talking to my grandma the other day about it. Dating to her is a totally different thing. Like dating was just going out and meeting a guy, and you might go to dinner with him or whatever, and you were going out, wasn't necessarily exclusive, but it was dating. But now you can't even say the D word because people are like terrified of you. You can't even be like, you can't even ask, is this a date? Or it's like, no response. They're gone. They're in another county. So,
that's what you call ghosted after that.
Yes. Several times. Yes.
Yeah.
That's so rude.
It is.
Yeah.
We're going to get there.
Okay. Go ahead, Karina.
Okay, well, dating has in the past 2 years it has changed my perspective. So Gabby, honestly, she hit the nail, right on the dot. It's very confusing out here. You're not sure, even when you are talking, you're like, are we talking? Because then you got to figure out, are we just friends? Do you like me more than that? People are just never clear about their intentions. So it's just one big mind game, honestly. It's like if you're not on the same page, you're not on the same page ever.
Right.
So,
Were you going to say something about that, Jacob?
Oh, no, I'm just totally agreeing with her. Like, it's true. You like, I think the biggest thing that she said is the not stating intentions clearly. But like, people are also like, and I think social media has a lot to do with this, and these ladies can probably agree with me.
Yes, it does.
Specifically with stating intentions and being like intentional about things, because we're all faking it every day online, right? So
we're putting our best highlights.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
You get your best highlights. You get your Photoshop photos from Joe and or whoever.
Hey.
Which is
Wait
great.
a minute, okay?
He meant that as a compliment. He meant that as a compliment.
It's great work, but
Punchy subject.
but like it's our best, right? I do the same thing. I do work all the time, and I edit out the stuff we don't want to hear, and I edit out the things that people don't want to know, and so you can't even really be like intentional, because when you are, our generation of people almost can't handle it. They can't handle directness and being intentional. Everything, like Karina said, it's a mind game.
Yeah.
So that's
Exactly.
So what I wanted to add to that,
Go ahead.
so like for the past 2 years, I have been dating somebody. We're not committed. However, we're at least honest towards who we might be dating. And it's actually been the most fulfilling situation, if that makes sense. Before it was just like ghosting. I was only dating somebody for 2 weeks, and it's just was not fun. And dating should be really fun.
Right.
You know, it shouldn't be
Yes.
like, oh, we'll go on a date here and then just disappear. That's not fun at all.
Right.
Not
Exactly,
fun.
because right now you could be dating somebody and you try to show like your best version of yourself, and then all of a sudden it's not even, especially like right now, it's not kind of one of those things like, oh, I love that you're yourself. Oh, I love that you can be out there. No, now it's like they find one thing they don't like about you and
Yes.
Yeah.
we're done.
Mhm.
Yep. Yep.
So
There's so much good nugget to that, or good weight to what you're saying about that, because yeah, it kind of in marriage. So not to take away too much, but in marriage, if you go with the good and the bad, like
Right.
you don't go. At least for me, I haven't been in 16 years. Jhmeid, not your mama, same from y'all, I'm sure, but I don't go 16 years without going through some bad stuff that I'm like, I don't like that. I don't
Right.
think you get that.
Yeah. I think that kind of is a barrier to them getting to that serious level because, like Jacob and Karina and Gab said, you're so the whole time you're best foot forward, best picture, best this, best out. The dates are less volume than we used to do because, like, if we like somebody, we might go out with them 2 or 3 times a week. That's too much now, even before the pandemic, because you gotta be cool. You got to be on social media. So I can see how that goes. And what I had 2 questions for the singles. One, how do you tell the difference between tuning and flirting? Like, when does tuning become flirting? Because I had never heard of tuning. I was doing my research for the show.
What
What
is
is
tuning?
what is
What-
Yeah.
tuning? I don't even know what to.
Tuning is where you show your romantic interest online without directly flirting. So like 3 Instagram pictures in a row, send them like some cute pictures and stuff like that. So
Facebook stalking.
that's tuning. And then
my God.
flirting is when you're a little more outright, like the hey with the bunch of Y's. So I was just asking them, since they're in that age group and that marital status of because I'd never heard of tuning. So
Neither have I.
Right.
So I guess it's like pre-flirting.
Yeah.
It's-
Gabs,
or
you wanna take it
indirect
first, or do
flirting.
you want me to?
Maybe it's because I don't know what tuning is, and that's why I'm single. Like maybe I'm skipping a step.
Oh no, I don't
my
think you
God.
are. No.
No.
No, but I don't know, because tuning, like with what you're explaining it as, I don't know, because I send memes and I will go through
Same.
and like someone's pictures, and I'm just
Uh-huh.
like, oh, I just really like these pictures. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
there's never a reason behind it.
I think that's a hard. Of course, I mean, we all learned a new phrase tonight, so I guess something's going right.
Yeah.
I like that.
Something new every day.
But I would say, like, I'm kind of the same way. I'm 100% oblivious. I'm a guy too, so I'm extra oblivious. But I'm 100% like, I'm kind of like Gabs. I'm like, oh, I just like these photos, and then they're like, you like their 10 photos, and it's like, oh
It's
no.
like, is
And then-
that weird?
But then you have to go back
That's a
and
social
like
cue then, I
analyze.
guess, right?
It's a social media thing. You have to go back and analyze like everything you
Oh,
said,
no.
so you don't unintentionally like lead someone on, or like there's just so much with it, and then everything's written down forever, and so you can't even be like, oh well, no, I didn't actually mean like, because without face to face, you can misread so much intention and so many things like that just by a
Yes.
text. Oh gosh, I prefer
No.
phone calls and face to face dates.
Yes.
Exactly.
That's just
Conversations face to face are so
Yes.
much better.
yeah.
And like nowadays, I have a standard to where if somebody can't even call me, we're not going on any date.
Yeah.
Wow.
Nope.
I like
Can't
that. I
do
like
it.
that.
Because
Don't get me wrong. It's
I
weird
totally
that
agree with
but it's
that.
weird that you would have a world where you're not making phone calls before you date someone.
Oh no, that's a real thing.
Yeah.
That's a real thing.
Yeah.
People are
That's
just
would
on
rather-
Tinder.
Yeah,
Yeah.
people would rather have your Snapchat than your actual phone number.
Exactly.
What?
I don't even know how to
And
use
that
that thing.
Yeah.
bugs me.
I hate it, Jacob. I hate it.
It's
I'm with
I
you.
do too. I
I'm
hate
too
it.
old for that.
You know, I'll be message. Sandy will send a snap, and I'll respond back to her, and she's like, "What?" And I'm like, "What do you mean? What? I was responding to what you posted." And she goes, "What did I post?" And I'm like, "I don't know anymore. I forgot. What are we saying?"
It leaves too much room for confusion.
Right.
And you get away with a lot.
But I'll tell you, I'm absolutely boggled right now at the concept that there in your world, people can be dating without ever actually talking on the phone, like real time, I guess.
Yeah, and that was kind of my second question.
Yeah, and I don't know how they do. I want to talk to you on the phone because I want to know you're not going to murder me later.
Yeah,
thank you. I want to know I'm not going to end up on Sandy's
Watch
show.
out, because you're perking Sandy's ears right now.
Right. But seriously, like the whole, let's just meet somewhere.
Okay.
I have a lot of female friends that feel the same way, but it's like, okay, hold the phone.
Yeah, if you
If
can
we meet somewhere,
comfortably
it's very
FaceTime me
public.
randomly.
I'm going to have a friend there somewhere scoping this out. You know, I mean,
hey, I'm that friend that will be in the back of the room for you going.
Don't invite Sandy because she's gonna just be videotaping everything. Even if something goes wrong with you, she's just gonna be like, "Oh God,
you know,
this is gonna be great."
Welcome to the content. She's here to watch my back.
Subject approaching.
Just have an earpiece. All right.
All right.
One.
I get where we're going with this, so this is cool. But Jhmeid, you said you had a question you wanted to ask.
2 parts.
Hold on to that real quick though, just so I can get to some of these comments real quick. Okay. Earlier, Joanne was asking what, not understanding the question. Joanne, it's not because you're too old. Okay.
No.
The
All of us
question
are
was,
too old.
Yeah. Just he still didn't hear an answer. Joe's answering the dating question from earlier. Dating is where you actually do things together that are mundane, like shopping for
Did
blankets.
you take your girlfriend to Joanne Fabrics, or was that?
Yeah.
Take me to Hobby Lobby and buy me Chick-fil-A.
I
Oh,
agree.
gosh.
Yes. Simple.
Wait,
Always.
so that's actually resonating well with you three, isn't it?
Well, not the fabric item.
Well, not the fabrics, but the
Chick-fil-A.
mundane part.
The Chick-fil-A.
Well, yeah, so like first date things go in here if we want to. Don't do a movie. I'm not.
Yes.
I want to talk to
Uh-uh.
you. I want to talk to you, and I want to get to know you. I don't want to sit there and be like sweating and be like, this is so weird.
Jacob,
Like,
I'm 16 years married, man, and I still do. I still tell my mom, I'm like, we're only going to watch a movie when we want to watch the movie, but it's not a date.
And I love movies. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's even a tax write-off for
Say
me.
it's not a
So-
date.
Jacob,
It is. I'm not kidding. It's work
I
If
need
you
your
do
job,
dinner
man. I
and
need
a
your
movie,
job.
like dinner and a
Yes.
movie,
Right.
that can be a
Okay,
date
yes,
because you're
okay.
going to dinner, you're sitting, you're talking. Okay, let's go enjoy a movie
Yeah.
together.
Okay, yeah.
And that's where you try
Right.
to hold pinkies, you know.
Let's go to Alamo Draft House.
That's
I
so
hate
cute.
That part so much.
I hope if
It's
there's
the
any
worst
guys out there
feeling in the world as a
watching,
guy.
if any of the guys or girls are watching, you're getting some inside information to these three specifically. So just putting that out there, okay? Let me finish up with these comments before we get to your question.
sorry.
Still, no, it's okay. Dolores saying it's a guessing game because if you ask if y'all are talking or dating, then you just can't.
Maybe pass the line. Pass
Yeah.
the line.
Ah,
and walk
pass
away.
the line,
Yeah, cross.
and
Or
they
talk-
back away.
Yep.
Because then you
Yeah.
just can't
Yeah,
pass
right.
the line
You
and they back
can't.
away.
You can't actually say it, and
Okay.
that's
Yeah.
It's so
really
odd.
aggravating
Jacob
because
said-
it's again about stating intentions.
And Joanne's messing around with Joe because she says, "So you can get under the sheets, Joe." That's called a hookup.
Spicy.
Oh,
Okay,
cross the line.
cross the line.
Right.
Okay, cross the line.
wow.
You were good though, Jacob. You were close to it. Yeah. Sandy says, going back to Jacob's comment of Photoshop, do you find it that more women are adding filters on photos like on Tinder apps?
Yes, or dating apps, whatever. But I can. I do this work, so I can see it, and I'm like, just be real. I want to know who you are, especially if somebody has to identify a dead body and nobody can tell who you are because you're so filtered.
Whoa.
Just saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe a little dark. But
All right,
like,
one more comment. Oh, go ahead, Jacob. Go
I
ahead.
was just gonna say, like, I just can't stand filters. But when I shoot
Yeah.
photography, I like wrinkles and I like reality in people, and I like to see, like, to me, people may look at them as imperfections, but I see them as character.
Jacob's
So-
into older women.
There's an eyebrow there.
Likes the wrinkles, huh?
Likes the
walked into that. Can't even turn around. Across the line. There we go. Next comment.
That's okay. So last comment, because the comments are fun, but here we go. Sandy saying, Jacob, I live to be nosy. Call me.
Oh, we will do it, Sandy. We're going to make a show out of this.
Yeah.
Except for it's not punked. Except if we could get
it's real. It'll be like,
cool.
This isn't, it'll be like Not the Onion, except real life, right? Not the dating or something like that. Yeah. Onion dating. There we go. All right, Jimmy, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead and ask your question, sir.
No, it's right in line with what you're talking about with the filters and the not talking and the ghosting and being careful not to say you like them. How far down the dating road can you go with someone that you haven't met in person? So not a catfish situation. You FaceTimed them, you've snapped whatever, Google Duo, but you haven't actually sat in front of them with a fork and a glass of wine. How far down the line can you guys go? Down the dating road, can you go with that person without physically seeing?
Oh,
I think it depends. It depends on what if they live far away, Right. It depends. But if they're in the same town, if it's not within 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Nope.
I think that's the longest that I've actually gone without meeting someone in person is 2 weeks. And they lived like in a different little town a couple hours over. But like after those 2 weeks, I mean, it's like, okay, are you going to put the same effort that I'm going to put here?
Exactly.
Like, are we going to meet up? Like, what's going to happen here? Because it's not going to be me going.
Poor guy from Alaska.
Right?
That's different. That's a little
That's
different.
going to give you all of his money?
You got 2 weeks to get from Hawaii to...
But, some men will be like, you know what? I really want to meet you. This is worth it. And they'll do it. Not that I've ever had that happen to me, but I do believe that people are that genuine.
I totally agree with that, though. I mean, because honestly, probably, and Karina, you can probably talk to this too, dating in your late 20s, early 30s is almost a bust in Lubbock. Because there's not, we have the college age, and then we have moms and dads. And to me, I've really felt like there's not any in between. So I haven't dated since early 2020. I mean, I just haven't, and I really haven't dated much since I started my career. But specifically around here, I went to Lubbock Christian University, which we also call Love Connection University. And if you didn't get married there, you were done. And so I'm one of the few that made it out alive, I guess, if you want to call it that. And it was just, it's tough now because it's how do you even meet people? You even go out, if you want to meet somebody at a bar, you're they're all kids. Most of these are probably fake IDs, And
see, the bad thing is, so I'm 24, so I kind of hit that. I'm still in that kind of lower.
You're
20s.
College graduate level.
I don't even like them. I don't even like those people because I'm for what I've gone through in life, I feel like I am, and I say this in the most humblest way, I feel like I'm too mature for the people in my age group. And I just can't deal with all of that. I don't even like going to the bars anymore because people love that. School's back, Texas Tech, woohoo, college life. I could not have made it through the college life.
No.
Let's pivot on that real quick, Gabs.
Yeah.
Both of you, because you brought, and Karina, I want to get your input on this too, but you're talking about finding someone in a bar. I didn't find my wife in a bar, but I know in my old school days when Sandy and I used to go to the club a lot together, you'd hear a lot of people. And one of our cardinal rules was never go to the club to look for someone to date.
Right.
Or marry.
Totally.
So for you three, we'll start with you first, Karina. What are the areas that you've experienced dating from, and what areas would you, or what areas would you like to experience dating from? Does that make sense? So is it the social apps or the online dating apps or whatever?
Okay, so back in high school, I had a high school boyfriend. We were together for 5 years, and we broke up when I was in my early 20s because I wanted to have that dating experience. Mm-hmm. And the dating experience, unfortunately for me, because I'm more introverted, I don't really care to go to the bars, I don't really care to socialize too much, it was always online. and that was the new version of getting to know people. And that was as early as when I was 23, and I'm 31 now, so it's almost like now it's more normal to date online than it is to meet somebody in the club or naturally, which is so unfortunate.
Yeah.
It's so unfortunate. I think when people say, "Oh, you're not gonna meet your guy in the club or your girl in the club," I think that's kind of a just that's it doesn't. It's not. Sometimes, like whenever you have that natural chemistry, you're not ever gonna have that realness or natural chemistry online.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. So,
Very true.
it's always nice to just be open to pretty much anything. If it works out, it works out. But, but that's been my dating experience more. Unfortunately, it's been online.
Is that what you would like it to be? Or if you had, your preference?
I prefer to meet somebody naturally, regardless if it's in the club or if it's at, at a cafe or something. Right.
Joanne's Fabrics.
I prefer it to be more natural.
Yeah.
What I want you to answer next to everyone also, tell us where would people find you today in your natural habitat? Karina, tell us real quick.
At the gym. Probably
okay.
at the gym.
Okay, I meant my last one at the gym.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
No, it was great.
Nothing wrong with that at all.
No.
What about you, Jacob?
Well, do you want me to answer both of them?
Yes.
Okay. Man, my preference would be like organically, I guess I would say, like in person.
Yeah.
Some of the best dating experience that I had was just like we were all it was friends having a birthday party at a bar, but it was just like, oh, I just invited my friend, and it's like, oh, me and this friend just like clicked across the table, and then had a thing like by the end of the night, like not. Like we didn't really ever even talk, but it's like we're laughing at the same things, and then you kind of have a connection and you talk and you hang out and stuff like that afterward. Like to me, the online stuff is like, okay, maybe, anywhere. It could happen anywhere. I'm not going to say it won't, but I would prefer organically because like, I think like Karina's right. You get that natural click. And you don't get that online. I mean, a lot of, horribly enough, the whole online dating thing, a lot of us are incredibly superficial, and it sounds horrible, but we like, that's our first, it's like our first impression of somebody, and that's not a real first impression, so it's not fair to them, but then we make our judgments based on it, just natural reactions and whatnot, and so, like, for me, I would rather just meet somebody in person somewhere, like, oh, hey, I have this friend, or oh, hey, we're all going out and like I brought this friend with me, or whatever it is, but that would be my preference. And as for where you find me, I work way too much, so
yeah,
and
same.
working, I work 2 jobs, have a band, so I am kind of I'm like, I hate being single, but also, I'm like, I don't really make the time or effort to try to not be single. So, and I enjoy being single.
You don't make
too. It's fun.
You don't make it a priority.
Right. Yeah. Because I'm like, to me, I'm 28, and I am really like, sometimes it sucks being single, but for the most part, I'm getting to enjoy a lot of really cool things that some of my friends who have been married for years now didn't really get to experience because they got married so early. They had kids, and I don't disparage that, but I'm like, I've gotten to do some really cool things in the last couple of years, just because I had the freedom to. So,
okay. So we could probably find you on DoorDash, basically, if we deliver your food. That's what I'm hearing.
Oh, I was about to say, man, no, that's not one of my jobs, bro.
No. I'm saying us through DoorDash, we could bring our food to you and be like, hey, you're kind of cute, so.
Yeah, man, I'll take it wherever. So, yeah.
Just best. Gabs, go ahead for you.
Okay, so for me, my situation has always been kind of just like roll of the dice. I mean, I've dated someone I worked with, a high school sweetheart, a mutual friend, we had a mutual friend, someone I met online in the gym. I am such an extrovert. Like I think my personality is too much to just find someone online, because online I can't give my full potential, because I've noticed anyone that I talk to that sees me, on social media, which is like kind of why I wanted to take a break from it, is because anyone who sees me on there, they're like, oh, like, look, she looks so sweet. Oh, look, she's so cute. Oh, and then they meet me in person and they're like, oh, she's a lot.
Couldn't be more wrong.
I'm like, oh. But I mean, I can be a lot. I have literally been told I am too much to handle.
I can.
That is so rude.
Yeah, right?
So rude.
You're lost.
Yeah, you need bigger. Yeah.
Exactly.
Night.
And
you just need to be able to lift more.
I told my mom, I was like, it sucks, because it's like, even whenever you're finally like, you know what, I'm not going to care what anybody says, like full potential all the way. I mean, I'm pretty raw on social media. Like, I speak the truth. I'll post what I want. Like, I have a big mouth, so I am kind of too much. But I mean, my preference would be to meet someone, of course, out and about. If I can see that someone can match my energy, like that is 100% what I would love to kind of connect with. So
someone who can match your energy.
Yes. So like,
yeah.
I wouldn't really say someone in a club, but like at a bar I feel like a bar and a club are completely different. So like,
they
are. Yeah.
They totally are.
So if you meet someone at a bar and you have a live band going, you're dancing. Like, if I'm going to be at a bar and I'm dancing and you're going to be out there dancing too, you're going to match the energy, and we're like across the dance floor, like, yeah, you go. Like, if you're cheering me on,
I'm feeling you. I'm on the same wavelength.
Got you.
Oh,
like,
man.
That would be my preference. Or,
you'd have been fun to hang out with Sandy and I back in our clubbing days. Okay, just letting you know.
Oh yeah, for sure.
We may have to take Sandy clubbing again, because I just want to see it.
Oh my gosh, we just
should be
all
white clawing it up in there.
And I will be watching from a distance. I've never been a clubbing person ever.
Y'all don't know. Sandy used to tear up the dance floor back in the day, guys.
I totally see it. I totally
believe it.
I can believe it.
Yeah,
I have no doubts
That's
whatsoever.
But yeah, and I mean, right now you can find me at work, or in a month or so you'll find me on a cruise ship. So
Oh, cool.
That's like
It's always a great place to meet
There you
people.
go.
yeah.
I was
You're
gonna
looking
say,
for somebody
that would be
who's
like-
75. Kidding.
Well,
Sorry.
Gabs did say that she felt a little more mature than the people who come after.
Right,
so,
yeah.
Yeah.
There's
I
an
mean,
insurance
who
policy there
knows?
too, so
So real quick, I think it's interesting, your three responses. I'd actually like for Nacho Mama to say something about it, because I don't want to ruin it. I don't want to ruin it, but you go ahead, Nacho Mama. Go for it.
So, I met my husband. We have been married. It will be 25 years in June. And
Congratulations.
I met him when I was in high school online in the early or the late 90s.
like
and
the
there was
beginning
no
of internet time.
Yes, and so
I
people
What's your
remember.
secret?
I remember chat rooms.
Yes, it was a chat room, and we didn't see each other's face, and so he kind of matched my personality and humor. And then I thought, this guy is really funny. I need to take a look at him. So I need to take a look. And we had a mutual friend, and we met. And my husband, Gabs, you say that you want to meet somebody that matches your energy. That's also could be a good thing, but you also want someone that can withstand your energy, because my husband and I are complete opposites.
That's
he is
true,
a wallflower.
Yeah.
He is so quiet. People don't even know he's there half the time. And here I am like, and so we are complete opposites. And so, like, I believe that you can meet someone online, but I think that pictures with all the filters have really killed a lot of it. But back in the late 90s, we were babies to this. We weren't even on a dating app.
I wish, man. I wish I was like 30 years earlier, so I didn't have to go through all this crap. I mean, there was different crap to go through, but
Yeah.
But we had the combination of online and then doing the dating. You know, he took me bowling for our first date. He,
oh,
you know, like took me,
That's
so we got, he took me bowling.
Write notes. Anybody that needs help, write notes.
Oh,
guys. Put it down.
Her husband, and I told her earlier, I was like, your husband's the best. Tell him I said he's the best. So
Yeah.
Yes,
Aw.
he is the he is the. Today was a day where he was not my favorite person, but he is the best.
and that's going back to earlier what you guys were talking about earlier. Is like there's those bad days and the good days, and so
There are bad days, and you think, oh, I'm gonna kill him in his sleep, but then you think about all the good. But you don't, but because I need him to reach the things on the top shelf that I can't reach.
I need one of those people.
Open jars.
I have a step.
Yeah.
I have a step.
Hold the
I
dogs.
open the jars. I open the
Oh.
I'm vertically challenged, but I just want to encourage you guys that, and I can't even, I tell my husband, like, don't die, please, because I can't date. I can't do dating nowadays.
No.
I feel that.
Oh, I
Yeah.
know, right?
I totally agree with Renee. Like you can find someone who's like polar opposite of you, because I've been in a situation where they weren't on my level, but it went really good. Things happen in the long run, but and then I also think it just depends on the experiences that you go through, because sometimes you could be like, oh, hey, this is going really good. Like, we're not the same energy, but he's one way, I'm another way. And then it's the fact of you have all that strong energy, and that's what turns them away. They're like, oh, we don't blend well together because we're not the same. Well, then I have that bad experience.
At that point, you're kind of competing.
Yes. So then it's like, okay.
So it's really, I think what y'all like, if my perception's correct, and Renee, correct me if I'm wrong, but like what I'm hearing is it's not necessarily a match of energy, but a balance. Right?
Yes.
And so, because like I'm the same way, Gabs. I'm an ambivert, so I have my introverted qualities and my extroverted qualities. And I can be really intense because, like, when I really care about somebody or I really care about something like my career or my band or whatever, like, I'm like 147,000% in all directions. And so for me, it's hard to find people that, like, don't really have that drive. And so sometimes I'm not attracted to that. But also, it's nice to have somebody that you can come home to at the end of the day that's like, okay, let's chill out. And I'm like, okay. So it's finding a balance as much as finding somebody who matches it.
All right. The same for the introverts. The introverts kind of need somebody to kind of pull them out of their shell a little bit. Yes. Because if my husband never would have met me, we never would have done half this. He never would have got a tattoo.
A tattoo?
and other things that he never would have experienced. But at the same time, he kind of brings me back, like, well, you're kind of going out there. I remember the first thing the first time he said, you're a little bit out there, Renee. I'll never forget that. But he kind of pulls me in to where I need to be, like, he's like, sit down. Just sit down and take a break and like, get your energy back, because I will give it to so many and so much. And he's just like, he reels me back in. And at the same time, I bring him out. So you kind of have this, like, ebb and flow. So
more on that for the marrieds episode down the road.
Yeah, that's the married.
It's so different for someone to say you're a little bit out there versus you're too much. Like, there's a hard difference there.
Yeah, for sure.
You're not enough. You're not
exactly.
Enough. That's what you need to say.
So that's
a give up statement.
I'm with you on that.
Pretty much.
Great observation.
So it makes me think. It makes me think of another question for you three. Okay, in the course of your dating. So, for example, I appreciate open honesty. I appreciate, just laying it out there, not beating around the bush. I'm okay with that. I am okay with someone telling me I stink, and it doesn't hurt my feelings as much these days. So it's like, okay, I just need to get it fixed. That's fine. What do you appreciate what has your experiences been versus what do you appreciate about the dating world in terms of being more open and honest with you? And it kind of is a little spin-off on the whole filters and pictures and things, but more talking about your experience with people's personalities and their behaviors and mannerisms and things like that. What has been your experience with that, and what would you like for there to be? Go ahead and start with Karina. Sorry.
That is a loaded question. It's hard. You know,
Is it because you got to throw someone under the bus, or is it because you're like?
well, you know, it doesn't necessarily have to do with like body odor or anything. You know, like I'm introverted in person because it takes me a while to warm up to people, but online I'm completely myself. You know, and again, it depends on who I'm around. I can be really extroverted with certain people, really introverted with others. Well, there was a time where I was dating somebody, and my real online personality was too much for him. And I took offense to that because I was like, how the hell did you find me attractive in the first place? Why did you reach out? That doesn't make any sense. So he had the nerve to try to, like, he saw me as being somebody who was really big-headed, somebody who was full of themselves, all these things. And I was just like, it's called having a personality. It's not the fact that I think that I'm so good looking or whatever. He just thought I was on my high horse, when really I was just trying to enjoy what I posted online. Other people enjoyed it, you know?
Right.
And sometimes that can show an image of someone who's maybe even insecure about themselves.
Oh, yeah.
And different in things that are less attractive to them. Because I think I understand. Like when I look at my wife and I see the powerful woman she is and the go-getter and stuff, I look at her and I'm like, man, she's confident, she's bold, she's strong.
Yeah. So with him, you know, I was getting to know him, just slowly getting to know him, and I was giving him a chance because I was attracted to him. So so he's religious. He believes in God, but I was very honest with him. You know, I told him I was agnostic, and he didn't really like that. And I was just like, okay, you know. But he continued to try to pursue me. And there was just one time where I posted on Twitter. This really rubbed him the wrong way. So I'm a movie fanatic, and on my Twitter, I posted on my headliner a scene, and I know, a scene from Pulp Fiction, where she's snorting the cocaine and whatnot. But this is on my Twitter, you know. He didn't like that, and he was trying to tell me to take that down. And I was like, excuse me, sir, are we together? Why are you telling me what to do?
Yeah.
So, you know, that it just was not a good thing. And it was just like, you know, sir, you can say you don't like me and you can move on. That's all you gotta say. You know?
Okay.
And it's just interesting because they'll still, like, there are some guys out there that will try to make you feel like you're not worth their time, but they're still trying to act like, oh, I'm such a good guy. You should listen to me, and you shouldn't, I don't know how to explain it, but it's very interesting. It's a little toxic, but it's like they're trying to mold you into the person that they want.
Right.
They don't understand that you are.
And it's not letting you be you and them loving
Yes.
that.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly. Never have I ever been like, don't post that. Never have I ever been like grossed out by somebody if they post something. I'm just like, that's you. I like
Right.
you.
My wife
just yourself. Exactly.
My wife just unfollowed me. That's all she did. So
yeah, I get a few of those every once in a while.
She's still my friend on Facebook. She just unfollowed me.
I'll ruin somebody with a meme, and they're like, I cannot anymore. I'm like, it's okay, it's fine. I just thought it was funny. If I have to suffer it, you do too, and that's how I live my life.
All right, what about you, Jacob?
So when it comes to open and honesty, I'm very open and honest about everything. Like, not like first date, like, oh hey, guess what? I did this really bad thing when I was a kid. I'm like, but like I also want them to know, like, if we're on a date and I explain something to you about an ex or something like that, it's not because I want to talk about my ex. I want you to understand that there's a reason I have a response to something. And along with that, I am in business. I've been in business for 10 years now. I just prefer direct and honest. I'm in a business that doesn't beat around the bush, and they don't care about your feelings, which I tried to not. I care. I'm very empathetic. I'm like a super empath, so I care very much what people feel and how I make them feel. But when it comes to so my example is I dated a girl who was she just beat around the bush. She could never say what she meant. She wouldn't tell me. She just wanted me to guess. And that is very aggravating. Like, I'm like, just tell me and like, just make a statement. Don't be passive aggressive. Don't be like, let's just
don't
talk.
answer my question with a question. Just
right.
Oh my God.
And so for me, when it comes to open and honesty, like, there's
It's
a
like,
point
say
to
it-
where I get
it with
editing
your
your
chest.
photos online. Whatever. I've done it too. Made my eyes brighter. Woo. Everybody does it. It's fine. As long as you don't look vastly different in real life. So, but just be honest and say what you're thinking. Like, I'm also kind of blunt, and I've hurt some feelings that way. And
same.
most of the time I'm like, I have to take a break, and I'm like, okay, I'm sorry. I really am. I apologize. I was blunt. I could have had a lot more tact in saying what I needed to say, but I want you to tell me, like, especially with running a business, I'm in video production, and I have more people say, oh, we decided to go with someone else. Just say, listen, we're not working with you. Like, and I've worked on this bid for like 4 weeks. I've met, we've done all this stuff.
Right.
If we're not going to work together, just tell me, because I'm in an industry that I don't have the time to waste wondering. And so I try to apply that in being direct with relationships, because it's the same thing. Like, I don't want to waste your time. And especially like when somebody does that, we need to talk, and then you don't talk to them for like an hour. And I'm like, I want to vomit right now. Like, just say what you need to say, but also say it to my face. I have been broken up over text message countless times, and it affects your, like, for me specifically, affects my self-worth. I'm like, so I wasn't even worth it to. I had to do the hard breakup in person. It's not fun.
I could never do that. Like, if I'm gonna break up with you, it has to be in person. Even on my end, I can't do that. That's not me, and that's just that's a very cheap way to get out of something.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
Yeah.
It's so weird. It's just
Not
so weird.
honorable.
Yes.
Man.
It's real, I hear
One time I got
bizarre,
broken up
so
with
bizarre.
in the middle of a nap by text message. That's the hands down the worst. It was a
Don't let
great
Joe
nap
hear that.
until
Don't
then.
let Joe hear that. He doesn't like that.
He loves
Anything
that.
interrupts his
I know.
naps. Especially
Nothing
that,
can
he's going to get
Uh-huh.
he'd be triggered right now.
But so,
And you know,
yeah,
if I were, and see, I'm somebody that's very chill. I am not somebody that gets crazy. However, if somebody broke up with me that I've been seeing for a while through text, I'm gonna be at their house.
Those earrings
I'll
are
be at the
coming
house.
off.
You're
Those
good.
earrings
Yes.
are coming
You gonna be
off.
on that
You're
door like,
correctly, sir.
so what did you send me on text?
Tell me again. Say that again.
Repeat it to me to make it official.
did you shoot Marvin in the face? Yeah.
He's going to be like, what? Dime otra vez? All right. What about you, Gabs?
How much time do we have? Well, so between Karina and Jacob, like, y'all have hit every stinking T. My biggest thing is honesty. Like, just straightforward honesty. I don't like beating around the bush. Even me, myself. I have kind of formed myself to be the kind of person that I will not go to bed. I will not leave a conversation and then think, man, I should have said this, or man, I should have done this. I will say what's on my heart. I will say what's on my mind, no matter the situation. And for people to try to beat around the bush with me, I don't like it. I'm just like, okay, no, just tell me, like, what's the problem, or what's going on. Like, if something bothers you, I'd rather you tell it to me. We talk it out on the phone or over FaceTime or in person, like, because I understand distance, you know, sometimes you can't always have those conversations in person.
That's fair.
But we have to talk something out. I'm not the kind of person to be sending this long of a text and then get this long of a text. No. We talk it out. And I don't know, I love just straightforward honesty. Yeah. And then what Jacob said about the breaking up over text, things like that. So probably my most recent example is what really just pushed me over the edge. Because, of course, we've all had our relationships, our situations where, and I'll be very honest, I've been in a situation where I have to become someone I'm not. You know, in my first serious relationship when I was engaged, I had to be enough for his family. I had to be enough to be like, oh, I can take care of him. In my second situation, I had to be enough because it was long distance military. It was, I have to be enough to take care of both of us here in this spot. I have to be strong enough to, whenever you're in a hole, I have to stay strong. And then, so I had to be someone I wasn't, and I don't like that about me. Do I regret it? No, because it taught me to be who I am today. But my most recent one is I told my mom, I was like, Mom, I really like this guy. We are we are a perfect little match. Like, everything was going so good. I was like, wow, like, great phone calls, great FaceTime calls all the time. We went on a trip together. He went on a trip with my family, all this stuff. Like, it was going so good. And then got back from our trip. I actually left my purse in his truck. He had to go straight to work on our trip. I had a luggage of his stuff here at the house because we brought it back to Lubbock for him. And literally the breakup was, it kind of goes back to the beginning. I can't even say a breakup because it was never official. Like, it was never a, hey, do you want to be my girlfriend or anything like that. I can't even say a breakup.
Going on a trip with your family didn't make it official?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, welcome to now.
Welcome to 2021.
Yep.
Wow.
You'll meet the whole family, the work.
Yes.
Feeling
And
official.
so you can even drop the hints like, oh yeah, like we're dating. Are we dating? And that's when they give you the look like, whoa. Like, and all kinds of stuff. The breakup was a text message. And this was after like a day of not saying anything, a text message saying, look, I don't want to fight, but this is what's going to happen. And then hey, I'm going to have a friend go pick up my stuff and drop off your stuff. That's the kind of stuff I'm like, no,
I'm with you, Jhmeid. I'm with you.
And it's one of those things like,
and
I don't like being caught like blindsided. I do not like that. And that one straight blindsided me. And I've been blindsided before. Jaime, you know that. I have been cut off before from 5,000 miles away. And this one really blindsided me. And so I'm very like, now it's like, we're going to be honest from the get-go, straightforward. If you can't be honest with me, you don't even get a chance to take me on a date.
Yeah.
I think a couple comments real quick. Sandy and Doe want to chime in here. I'm sorry. Sounds like you dodged a bullet, Gaps.
Yeah, straight up Matrix. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Joe says.
That was good.
I love Joe.
That dude sounds like a loser.
Wiener Joe.
Sandy says, never let that affect your self-worth. That says more about them than that will ever say about you.
Exactly.
Yes, that's one thing that I have learned through my past with what I've gone through the last 4 or 5 years is it took me a little bit to realize that it didn't affect my self-worth. I think the first downfall that I had really affected me. That really put me in a hole when I felt like I wasn't enough. And if you're going to be married to a guy and they cheat on you, like, that's going to affect you.
I mean, that's a deal breaker in my book.
Yeah.
Even at 16 years.
Exactly. It's going to affect you. And so, but I learned, even just this past year, I've learned that I can accept if I've done something wrong. I will tell you, hey, I was in the wrong. Hey, I shouldn't have done this. I shouldn't have said this. I can accept that. Mm-hmm. But if someone can't reciprocate that to me and accept their wrongs as well, like that just shows that, hey, I did nothing wrong. I gave my best. I was as human as I could be. I was myself. And that's all that I can do is just be me. Mm-hmm. So
Joanne also says, you're better off without him, dirtbag.
Yeah.
You are major dirtbag. Yeah. Hope I never meet you, whoever you dirtbag are, okay?
And seriously. I do want to say something for Gabby. You know, I'm sure you know this. We all know this. Even if they ghost you, they break up with you in a horrible way. For some reason, they will be back around.
They'll be back.
Yes,
I know.
And that's
Oh.
liberating. That is
Oh
so
my
liberating
gosh.
because at that point you can just be like, don't got time
At that
for you
point, I'm
this
like,
time.
can
Why,
I?
you're like, why are you even doing
Exactly.
this? Do you realize
And
how
that's
pathetic
so
it is?
liberating about that because
Yes.
no, without fail, they always come back around.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
And you're like, oh hey, what's really fun is to be able to acknowledge what they did to you, and then they're like, oh, I didn't do that, and I'm like, oh, you know what's
my
really
gosh.
funny is I have
Yes.
all the evidence.
I have
That's what
receipts.
gaslighting.
I've got and and that's a good point. Is that like the very first girl I dated? I was 16. It's a whole torrid love affair for 16-year-olds, but she cheated on me like the whole time we dated.
Oh my
And
God.
so, like,
Aw.
for me, even like I've only had like 3 actual girlfriends ever. The last one was, what year is it? 21. So 8 years ago, I think. But it gave me like a lot of trust issues. But I've had to kind of get over, like, I've talked to girls. We were in the talking stage and the hanging out stage, but you can't say it's dating yet because for whatever reason.
Because
But,
you're crazy if you think it's
Exactly.
dating.
Right. Let's not put labels on
You're
it.
moving too fast.
I
You're
know.
moving too fast.
Yeah, if I can. But anyways, so like I had a complex for a long time. I just could not trust anyone. And the worst part about that was, I would say, "Listen, I don't like that you're doing this." And she knew everybody knew it was happening, and she would say, "Oh, I'm sorry that you feel that way." She never apologized to me
Wow.
for doing it, and didn't even have. I mean, and we were kids. Everybody's trying to figure it out. 16 is not a great time to date typically, because
That's
we're
a
all
good
like
lesson for
hormonal
you
and
to
crazy.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But still, like at the same time now, it's like I've dated like older women, like 10 years older than me, and it's like,
With
okay,
the wrinkles. He likes the wrinkles.
yeah, there's
Yeah, he
there's
likes the
wrinkles
wrinkles.
again. But it's
Ain't
like
nothing wrong. Wrinkles need loving too.
right, but it's one of those things. It's like there's a reason you're dating me 10 years younger than me. I actually had this gal it was a soft breakup because we weren't together, but she was like, this is not going to keep going on because you're actually too good for me. And I was like,
Sorry,
that's
lost
the
connection for a
nicest.
second.
That's
That
okay.
was like the nicest breakup I've ever had.
You're like, thank
but
you.
but you know what? Like it was eye opening because I started looking at it, and it wasn't like an ego trip or anything. I just started looking at things, like really analyzing it. I got like out of my heart in all the fluttery everything, and Joe.
Is that a sports team or something? Am I missing
Not a
something?
dad thing.
Yeah, what is that,
Leave
North
him
Carolina?
alone. Leave him
Panthers?
Jhmeid, is that
But
North
no,
Carolina?
it's like when I actually started
there's-
analyzing it, I was like, oh, you know what? She's not wrong, and it was
Yeah.
one of the most confidence building breakups I've ever had which is weird. I didn't think you could have those, but
Oh yeah.
it was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
okay, like I am worth it. I am worth this.
You are.
But also, she knew that she couldn't fulfill what I wanted. I was doing my best to fulfill hers, and I feel like I did, but she was like, I just know. And I've been in that position too. Like, Karina, you mentioned earlier that you're like not really religious, you're agnostic. I'm pretty much the same. And I'm going to Lubbock Christian University. Everybody wants to go to church all the time. And that's cool. Like, I understand. I was raised, my dad was a youth minister for 15 years, so I got as much as I probably ever want out of that. But I had to break up with a girl because she wanted to go on mission trips and she wanted to go do all this stuff. And it was like, I'm not on that path. I don't see myself being on that path anytime soon. That was 8 years ago. And I broke up to her face, and she ran out on my front lawn crying, screaming, crying at 34th
Aw.
in Chicago.
Well,
And I'm like, I'm not, sorry.
That
I
doesn't
didn't
mean
know what
that's
to do.
nothing on you. That's nothing on you.
But so, like, just being direct and saying, okay, and just being, like, intentional with what you're saying.
Yeah.
I don't think it's
Yeah.
that hard, but it is, because people are afraid, like, they're going to hurt your feelings. And it's like, you're going to hurt my feelings regardless. At
Yeah.
least give me some closure of some sort.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
And like, so I actually had something similar, kind of similar. I mean, he said it over text, but whatever. No, there was a guy that we were kind of talking and everything, and I just knew, like, I called mom the moment everything happened. I was like, yeah, this one ain't gonna work out, because I mean, the kind of music I like, he didn't like. The way I order food, he didn't like. The way, like...
Wait, time out.
Okay, that's what? We may have to diagnose this a little further.
So,
I mean, people are crazy.
I mean, do you order food with your mouth full? I could get that.
we were going up to a drive-through, and so details kind of helped the situation. I had already eaten for the day. He had just gotten off work, had not eaten. We were going through a drive-through. I said, "Hey, I'm not hungry. I already ate. I might get something to snack on. You get you something to eat. I know you had a long day." Go through a drive-through at Taco Villa, and pull up to the drive-through. Oh yeah, pull up to the drive-through, and he's like, "So what do you want?" I was like, "Oh, just an order of curly fries is fine. Like that. I really don't want anything." And then he orders him a Coke, and then he looks at me. He's like, "Well, what else do you want?" I was like, I said I'm not that hungry. Well, the lady was like asking multiple times, like, "What can I get for you?" And then he was like, "That's all, never mind." And then we pull up to the window, and we're waiting for them to open the window, like give us our stuff. And he looks over at me and says, "Anytime we go up to a drive-through, you need to be ready to order, because now you made things awkward for her and for me." I was like,
no. First off, nobody cares.
Serial killer.
That guy's gonna be on Sandy's show.
Sandy's serial killer alert.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, I was like...
Okay, hold on. Let me play devil's advocate real quick, Gabs. My wife does the same thing. I don't ever say anything, but I look at her and I'm like...
You know what's so funny?
To tell me, like, if it's a lesson?
Oh, no, it's not a lesson. I'll just be like...
No, yeah.
Hear me out. So I've done, like, enough, like, studying singles and marriage folk and all the things, because it's, like, my thing. Bachelor in Paradise, all the things. Well, the number one reason, if you can guess, why people get divorced, the number one reason is not being able to agree on food.
Hush your mouth.
Yes.
That's not true. That can't be true.
I wasn't hungry. What? It is so true.
But you got divorced before you got married, Gab, so I think you won.
Oh, maybe. Okay,
you didn't get a payout,
never mind.
But, you know...
apparently that's, like, a real thing. Yeah.
That's crazy. So, of course, those little things were happening. And just, at this point, it was so early in the talking area, might I add, you know... I was like, this is definitely, like, for you to try to reach over to my radio and turn off my music because you don't like it.
Oh, you can't.
You aren't going to touch my radio.
You'll never mess with another person's radio.
I say it's always the driver gets to call it.
Yep.
It is my car. Yep. You do not touch my radio.
Now, when you have kids, and if y'all agree on what the kids can listen to, that's different. But most of the time, it's still the driver's call.
Yes, and and I mean, I'm the kind of person like I'll make a little joke like, "Don't touch my radio," and like I'll put it back on.
Sandy had a little thing earlier. She said,
That's so true.
Oh, I know, Sandy.
I agree.
True.
Yeah.
So true.
I finally decided, I was like, this is not going to work. So
life is too short. Like, don't touch my radio, get out the car.
And don't ignore your friend's red flags. When when your circle is starting to say, I don't know, you should listen to your friends or your family members, because sometimes your heart glasses are on, or your attractive glasses, I don't know, whatever.
Yeah.
No, and you know what? It's your endorphins. It's all that stuff in the inside. You got them all flowing out. They're flooding your body, and you don't see anything wrong with them. It's called euphoria. That euphoric phase that we go through. Euphoric feelings are rushing our body. Dopamine and serotonin is all filling in. You don't see the bad in people.
Yeah. When your friend says, I don't like the way he talked to you like that, you need to pay attention. Or when your guy friend says, man, something's wrong, she sings crazy. Pay attention to that, because they are picking up on something that you are not.
Exactly.
Like, and don't break up with your friends because your friends are trying to protect you. You know?
Right.
The good thing is that we had both agreed.
Disrespect. Oh, that's my coworker. Sorry, guys.
We we had both agreed, like, hey, this is not going to work. And he did tell me, he was one of the ones that told me, you're way too much for me. But he also did say, he said, it's not that you're a bad person. He said, you're a great person. You have a great personality. But he said, it's too much for me to handle. He said, you're going to find someone that is going to be able.
How rude, you know?
And I was like,
Yeah,
you need to know how to
could've
talk
said it
you know
sometimes.
what? I was like, you're right. I
Yeah,
am going to find
have a little
someone that can
tact.
take my
Right? Yeah, Jacob.
Yeah.
craziness.
I gotta
But
know
at the
what
same
kind
time,
of
like-
music this was that drove him crazy. What kind of music did he listen
Yeah,
to?
I'm curious.
Thrash?
That might be a good-
It was country.
Oh,
It
see,
was
that's a
country.
deal
I would
breaker for me.
not
That's a
guess
deal
you
breaker
listen
for
to
me.
country.
But there was a song.
I'm just kidding.
There was a song, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is such a funny song. And I turned it up, and it said a couple bad words, and he was like, oh, how could you listen to this? And turned it off. And I was like, it's
Was
a
he going?
funny song.
Was he in theology
Is he
school?
okay?
I mean,
I don't think he's okay. But, so yeah.
man. Yeah.
No.
Sandy says her line is, "It's not me, it's you."
Oh,
right,
dude.
right.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, I agree with that. Look, I'm
Yeah.
having a great time. I think we could go on longer, but I
yeah.
wanted to be respectful for everyone. Some of us have kids getting up in the morning. Not you guys, not you three. I
Not
get
us.
that.
Not yet.
But there are a few things I want to cover before we leave. So here's the thing: is before we leave, just to let everyone know, I'm going to give Karina, Jacob, and Gabs a moment on the screen so they can share whatever personal message they want with you. But before we get to that, I'd like to ask some 2 more questions real quick. And so I said something at work this week that got a lot of excitement, and people were very sharp with their tongue to me on what I said, because I was talking about tonight's episode. Nothing bad. It was all in jest and fun and fine. But I had mentioned him. So, and I'm curious, this question is more for Jhmeid and Nacho Mama real quick. I told people, I was like, I only see 2 things of relationship. I only see people being single or married. There's nothing in between. So let me define that real quick. Single to me is you could be dating someone exclusively, you're still single. Because there's got no money in the game. There's no skin in it. Unless you are moved in together, joint bank accounts, you got kids together, you're paying, all that stuff, then to me, you've officially hopped over into the marriage without actually getting married. But before that, if you're 3 months in, you're both going Dutch at the restaurant, you're still single. You're not,
I
you're not
absolutely
married.
agree with that.
You do, Karina?
Absolutely agree with that. Yes, I do. Yeah.
No,
I'm, very-
that's cool. I'm fine. How many of you on the screen agree with that?
I do, because once
absolutely agree
you
with that.
live together for 6 months in Texas, you're technically married.
Common law.
I found that out. Yeah.
Oh, oh.
And you
I found that
know, and me
Texas likes their
personally, I've
marriages.
never lived.
Hmm.
I'm 31 and I've never lived with a man, and I refuse to because it's like, if you want me to split the bills with you, honey, we're married.
Right.
Me and you are married. Let's not act. We're not about that.
So Jacob
So-
and Jhmeid, you didn't agree with the rest of us. What is y'all's? Where are you standing?
I think in general, first of all, that's straight from my grandmother's. She's like, either you're like, oh, we're dating for no, you guys are single. But I think it's some nuance. I think it's some nuances there.
I think there's
But
some
in
gray
general,
area.
I agree that either you're serious or you're single. So
I actually really like that better. Either you're
Okay.
serious or you're single.
Okay, all right. Okay, that's cool. So then here's the last thing, the last question I'm going to ask before we start officially wrapping up. I would like for everyone, we're going to go around the room, and I want everyone to kind of just share, Jhmeid, Nacho Mama, myself, share what we kind of gathered from them sharing their stories and their perspectives tonight. And then for the 3 of you, I want you, Karina, Jacob, Gabs, I want you to give one final piece of dating advice from your personal books to everyone out there. And then after that, we're going to let each of you share a personal message, whatever you want to share with the audience. Sound okay, everyone?
Works for me.
All right. So I'll start off so that way it gives Nacho Mama and Jhmeid a little bit of time to think about things. I appreciate the three of you coming on tonight and being open about relationships, dating, your lives, and things like that. I think for me, walking away from this, I'm hearing some perspectives from people who, I've been out of the dating world for quite a bit. I have no hopes or secret desires to go back in that world.
No.
I'm absolutely fine being with Dr. Pineapples. Most of you have met Dr. Pineapples, and I enjoy my wife very much. But hearing you three talk, it's definitely helped me to have a more sensitive ear and heart about what people are going through these days, because I have a tendency to be pretty hard line on what I believe and stick with that belief only. But actually hearing you three face to face, that part helps out. It does make me sensitive to understanding that there are things today, especially social media, that make things a little skewed these days. And that there's a world today in the dating world that exists where you can actually, there's no face-to-face contact, there's no person-to-person, there's no even on the phone, and people in today's world actually think dating because you're just typing on a keyboard is okay. I didn't know that existed, to be honest with you. So while I understand that and I don't know that I appreciate it, but now that I understand it, I'm definitely more sensitive to the idea that you have a different world than where I came from, and it can help me be more listening and more sympathetic to that. So thank you three. Nacho Mama, you want to go next?
Well, what I gathered from this was that there's so many components nowadays. Back when we were dating, it was just like, hey, do you want to go do this? And it just kind of gave it a shot. It was no, they like talking or whatever, talking and doing this and then in like 2 weeks and you got to meet, like there was none of that. And so it's really bizarre to me. But what I got from this is like, I have 2 daughters, and yes, they're young, but I have to be aware of what I believe dating is for me, and my husband is not going to be the same for my kids. And that makes me so nervous because even now I'm like, oh, that boy, that boy over there, and like he's not looking at me, and I'm just so, I don't know, I'm nervous for the next generation of what it's going to look like, because you guys have your system. What is it going to be like for the next generation? My oldest is in middle school right now, and I just don't even know. So I have to keep my eyes open to see what's the new trend, what's going to happen now, what's going to be the new app that they're going to be on, or how they're going to talk. It's just, I feel so old.
I would say experienced.
There you go.
Good takeaway. I appreciate you saying that too, Renee. Yeah, Jhmeid, what about you?
You guys both hit some points that I was going to make. As a girl dad, I have a 16 and a 13-year-old, so I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to have some different talks with them. I love how determined this group is, so I'm like, if I can get my girls to be as strong and even my son as strong as Jacob and Karina and Gabs are, I've done a good job. So you guys are doing a good job and stay your course. It's kind of like, it looks like dating in the 2020s is like a little bit walking on eggshells, right? You have to have your representative. You can't
need an agent.
Love too quick. You can't say I love you or I like you. You can't ask if you're dating.
Don't you dare use the L word.
Right. You can't fake
Oh my God.
like somebody and go on a family trip without an official thing. So it's a new world. Definitely don't want to ever be out there in that world again. But good luck to you guys, because look at it this way. I didn't get married until I was in my 30s. So, when you get married, make it count. Make them earn getting to that point. And you guys are doing well. You have a great career and all that stuff. Don't settle for less. And so no matter how hard it is, I'm going to try to tell my girls, my son, hey, don't settle for less. Whatever you want, wait for that.
Well said, Jhmeid. Well
Slow
said.
clap. It was beautiful. That's an Academy Award speech.
Real quick question. Just answer. Jhmeid and Renee, did your husband and Jhmeid, did y'all ask? It's weird to ask it the way I'm asking, but basically, did the guys ask the woman to be your girlfriend when you started dating?
No. I went full in.
Oh, cool.
That's cool.
Jhmeid, did you ask your wife to be your girlfriend before y'all got married?
I did. I was like, hey, we're dating
on,
now,
brother.
right? Like I'm
Right
not
I love that.
playing around.
Yeah.
We're gonna, yeah.
Same
we're
here.
Yeah.
I asked my wife. In fact, I asked my wife twice.
Hey,
Even
sometimes
better.
the third time's a charm. So
She said yes
There you
both
go.
times, by the way, guys. Okay, she said yes both times, but
oh man,
more on that another time on the marrieds episode. Okay, all right. So for our singles tonight, we'll start with you, Karina. But what is the one piece of advice, or nugget, or page from your book that you want to give to everyone out there dating in the 2020s?
Okay, well, sometimes you really do need guidance and you need perspectives from all areas. There's this one individual, his name is Matthew Hussey. He is on YouTube. He probably I call him more of a life coach because he's not just all about dating. He's about, how you deal with people, your friends, family, things like that. Very, very good insight. And I also have this amazing book that I've always kept with me. It's called I Had a Nice Time in Other Lives. And this is just the cutest book. And it says how to find love and shit like that. So it kind of just helps women. It helps women not be so batshit crazy about the little things and to just really enjoy what comes to you. Enjoy that date. Who cares if it works out? Enjoy the moment. That's all I got.
Thank you, Jacob. What do you have?
dang, I don't know if I can follow that up. I would say be clear with your intentions and do not settle. You will regret it every single time. Every one of them. Every time I've settled, like, I know I settled there and I shouldn't have done it and it's gone down in flames. So be intentional and communicate. Communication is key, especially with me. Tell me what you're feeling. Don't make me guess. I will never make you guess what I'm feeling. Be intentional, communicate, don't settle. That's 3. You got 2 bonuses out of me.
That's fine. Okay. All right. Thank you. Gabs, what do you got?
So I completely agree with both of them. So everything that they said, plus something that I wish I would have learned sooner. I mean, I don't regret that I didn't because it helped me out in the long run. But start being yourself from the get-go. Don't put on a certain persona just because you think they're going to like that or because you think, oh, I see this is their type, let me do this. Be yourself from the start. I talking about filtered photos and stuff like that. Literally, I got to where my first FaceTime call with you is going to be no makeup, just sitting in a sweatshirt at home because you're either going to take that or like you're not going to get me all dolled up. So be yourself, even your personality. Don't wash yourself down just because like, oh wait, I don't want to scare them off. Like, no, don't do that.
Good point. Yes.
If you can't go into it 100% you, then it's not going to be worth it in the long run because one, it'll either just completely go downhill once they see who you really are, or 2, you're going to kind of wish like, man, I kind of wish they knew who I really was because what if you never get the chance to get there?
Yeah.
And they're upset because they're like, I feel like you're holding back, so this isn't going to work. So be you.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Good. I appreciate that. So as our final act before we let these fine people go tonight, I'm going to give each of you the screen so you can share whatever little tidbit, not dating related or dating related. That's fine. You're going to get the full screen. So let everyone know what it is you want to know, what you want them to know.
What? I have to be first?
You get to go first, Karina.
Okay. Yeah, no, just be your 100% authentic self and you will attract the right people, whether you're dating them, friends. Those are the right people that are going to enjoy you.
Excellent.
That's it.
Jacob, I'm going to give you the screen so you can shout out whatever it is you want.
Oh, here comes a shout out. I even wore it.
Yeah.
So my name is Jacob Hamil. I am in a hard rock band called Labor 12. We've got influences from all over. Collective Soul, Matchbox 20, Shinedown, into heavier stuff like Seven Dust or Static X. We are dropping our first single and music video, which I directed, on what is this? Oh, it's coming out on Labor Day. Haha.
Labor
branding. Yeah, we are dropping our first single. We are still funding our first album. I think we're about $2,500 away, so we've raised about $5,000 so far. But if you back the album at any, I think the lowest one is $5, and you get all the singles off the album. You get all the singles, and anything above that, you get the entire album plus perks. But I don't know when we're coming out with the album yet. Kind of depends on the funding. But it's really exciting. We've had a lot of really great feedback. It has been my dream since I was 8 years old to be a musician, and finally getting to do it the way that I want to, with 3 of my best friends. So check us out on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and if you want more information for our crowdfunding, give me a shout. So yeah, dreams coming true, and I'm only 28.
Wow, that's awesome.
Jacob, send me the information, and I'll make sure we get it posted to our Facebook page so that folks, anyone, you can go to our Facebook page and you can see how you can help fund Labor 12's release. Okay, so thanks. Gabs, you're up.
Hello. So, probably 2 things. I don't like being full screen. Probably 2 things, honestly, that I want to say. The first one, I live by both of these things. Never forget your worth. You are worthy no matter how anyone makes you feel. You are worthy of happiness, of joy, of love, of everything positive in this world. And then for people who kind of can, I guess, look into it a little bit deeper than most, something I live by is Philippians 4:6. It's don't worry about anything, instead pray about everything. Tell God what you need and thank him for all he has done. I have lived by that for the past 3 years of my life. And at first it had kind of a different meaning to me. I was thanking God for what he was giving me, but now I'm thanking him for what he's teaching me. And I feel like this past year I've learned so much by accepting my worth and knowing that I am worthy of all these great things. I just have to accept it. And so do you. And that's it. Take me off.
Gabs.
Okay, thank you.
Man, I should have really gave him something better.
No, it's fine. It's fine. Gabs, I'm so glad you said that, because I was like, I wanted to say that, but you said it, so it makes so much more. So much more coming from y'all. So, you 3, Karina, Jacob, Gabs, thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight, and all of our audience too.
Thank you.
We're gonna let these 3 go and go hang out in the green room. Do not hang up, and we'll be back with y'all in just a little bit, okay? But thanks again for coming tonight. All right. Have a good night. See if I can get the right J this time. All right. So that was our singles episode. I know it went a lot longer than we had anticipated, but those guys were really forthcoming in what they were sharing tonight. I think
their transparency was great.
And it's very shocking. I'm very I'm in disbelief on how much everything has changed.
Yeah, I thought you made a great point, Renee. So I didn't realize that all 3 of us have daughters. Like, we each have 2 daughters, I think, right? Jimmy, you have 2 daughters?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So all of us have 2 daughters, and Renee, you hit it right on the head with that. Like, geez, I don't even know what to take away from it in that sense, but yes, our kids are what kind of dating world are they going to grow up in?
It's so bizarre. It's just so crazy.
Yeah. So why don't you tell us what's happening this week for each of you as far as future broadcasts coming up, if you want to share, Jhmeid?
We're going to be on tomorrow night. The Braves, we're doing good. It's getting closer to football season.
Shout out! Woo-woo!
So we'll increase the frequency of our shows, and we watch your shows. We love to have your viewers watch our shows because we don't just talk about Atlanta sports. We talk about all sports from Atlanta point of view.
Awesome. Jhmeid, if you would throw the Facebook link or YouTube channel for We at Atlanta Sports, throw it in the comments, and that way we can make sure everyone knows where they can go look for that. Okay. And then Renee, what do you have going on this week?
Oh man, well, it's our first week back to school, so we're all still trying to figure out our routines. And I'm still, I got on TikTok, you guys, so I joined. I joined something, and so I have a Facebook show called the Ghost Find a Spirit Show. So I'm kind of connecting that with TikTok, so I could find future. There's a lot of paranormal stuff on TikTok that's really, really bizarre, and so I'm hoping to get guests that are out of my circle into the show. And one thing I do want to say for the dating thing is, it kind of with animals are very they can sense spirits and things. So if you are dating somebody, pay attention to the way they treat an animal, and make sure that if they treat an animal poorly, they're not going to treat you or someone that you care about correctly. And that was one indicator. I had one boyfriend that my dog, every time he came around, she would just growl and growl and growl at him. And she didn't trust him. And I didn't pay attention to it because I had the blinders on. That didn't work out. Then she meets what now is my husband, and she just adored him. And I thought, maybe there's something to it. And same with animals with seeing spirits. So if you have an animal that has seen a spirit, let me know. Again, it's the Ghost Find a Spirit Show, and I would love to have you on.
Nice. Well, now that you made me say it, think that Sonny, who is our little snake, he hisses at me quite often, and my wife tells me he doesn't like you. So I wonder if there's something to be said there. I'm the one who got him, and I'm the one who takes care of him, but he hisses at me, but not the other ladies in my house. So.
Those are his ladies.
My daughter's bearded dragon doesn't like my wife.
Oh. Oh, that's so sad. So Sandy wants me to read some comments before we go because I was not at the end, but here we go. Sandy was saying, my takeaway is that dating is harder than it used to be. I don't want to be back in the dating pool. Jacob, thank you for being my guest. I'm sad I wasn't on. She really was. She really wanted. When we mentioned this, Jacob, she first was like, Jacob, let's ask Jacob. So Joe says, my takeaway is dating in the 2020s sucks. Good luck to y'all.
I agree.
Sandy's clapping. This was earlier, Jhmeid, when you were making your point. Joanne says, stay grounded. Sandy says, and don't buy the whole pig for such little sausage. And why buy the whole cow when you can milk it for free?
Are we in a farm?
I'm like, what is going on here? I don't. Sandy says some things sometimes, and I'm like, I know it's right there. I just can't figure it out sometimes.
That's what you say about, like living together with somebody without being married.
Right.
So if you can get the milk for free, why would you?
Why would you get married? Yeah, right. If you can. Okay, that makes sense. Yes, Matthew has a great book. Sandy, I think she was mentioning that about when Karina was talking about. I can't remember the name of it now, but yes.
The pink book.
Yes. Thank you, Joe. Thank you. And I think that's it. One last one. Renee, remind me to tell you a story about my dog. Oh my gosh, I know that story. She's going to tell you. All right. Well, everyone, we love you. The Social UnDistancing Show will be back next Monday at 9 p.m. Central Time, and Joe and Sandy will be here to join me. If you have ideas for a future show, let us know so we can either find the people to bring on or the topic to talk about. But I'm kind of liking the idea of doing a marrieds episode here soon. And we might invite Jhmeid and Renee to come back to be our guests, and we'll talk about y'all's marriages. So heads up, get with your spouses to make sure you can air your whatever laundry.
Talk about no to this. Okay.
Well, everyone, we love you. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight. And as usual,
remember to be kind and rewind.
Look for and meet new folks. You filthy animals. So, we still missed it, but that's okay because Joe appreciates that. We love you guys. Have a good night, everyone.
Good night.